Hello again. It's time for Let's Talk Politics here on ABS Television. There's no gainsaying the fact that rule of law is the backbone of any functioning democracy, effecting effective checks and balances where necessary. And the rule of law remains the foundation upon which trust, stability, and prosperity shape the society. Our program, Let's Talk Politics today, we will delve into rule of law, the electoral acts passed by the Senate, and then opportunities and, of course, challenges. And our guest today is Barrister Ifatu Obiokoye. He is the state chairman of the ruling party in Anambra State, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA. He is here to share his thoughts on the subject matter. Welcome to Let's Talk Politics.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Recently, the Senate, not just recently, but just yesterday, yes, the Senate passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026, which introduces several key, changes to the country's electoral process, like the key provisions, electronic transmission of results. The Senate rejected the proposal to make electronic transmission of election results mandatory instead. They retained the existing provision allowing the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to prescribe the method of results transmission. And then still on that, voter identification, the permanent voter card, PVC, remains the sole mandatory mode of identification of polling units, with the Senate rejecting electronically generated voter IDs. And then on notice of election, the time frame for INEC to issue the notice of election has been reduced from 360 days to 180 days before polling day. And then submission of candidates lists. The deadline for political parties to submit list of candidates and their affidavits has been reduced from 180 days to 90 days before elections. And then penalties for PVC offenses. The Senate retained a 2-year imprisonment term for buying and selling PVCs, but increased the fine from 2 million naira to 5 million naira. And finally, by model voter accreditation system BVAS, the Senate replaced the smart card readers with BVAS for accreditation and voting. These are the things. And then reaction, people are looking at that with a mixed reactions, especially as it concerns the transmission of results from various stakeholders, including the Labour Party, Atiku, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and they argue that it undermines electoral transparency and credibility. We also have Senator Femi Falana, who also criticized the Senate for delaying the passage of the bill, warning that it could jeopardize the credibility of 2027 election. So from this, backdrop, let's have your reaction to the action of the Senate yesterday.
Thank you. The much expected, I think the big one everyone was really looking forward to is the issue of electronic transmission of voters. It's one key area we've all been looking forward to.
Yeah.
And no matter what the discourse may be on it, it of course comes with obvious challenges.
Yeah.
I remember the last time we were talking about glitches, and we must look at this issue in relation to the environment. Are we really prepared to go that far in technological development? Have we set up the right institutions that will ensure that we have seamless transmission? We look at the things that happen even in our daily life.
Yeah.
Sometimes in your privacy, you want to do your mobile transaction, which is also a part of this process of electronic transmission.
Yeah.
Now you find out that you can't even do that. You talk about the environment proper. In many areas, they are not developed to the extent of being able to make transmissions from those areas into the national grid.
Yeah.
As much as we had hopefully looked forward to that with enthusiasm, hoping that that is the only way you can be sure that the result as announced at the polling booths is the same result that gets to the end use. We must look at it more seriously. In the real light, can we, given the circumstances of our development, really do that? Certainly we cannot.
Yeah.
In this environment, Anambra alone, there are various parts of Anambra that you don't even have electronic transmission facilities, both for the cable and non-cable. And if it were to be the law, the question remains, what will be the sanction if you are unable to make electronic transmission? These are some of the things that the Supreme Court looked at in interpreting the provisions of the law. So I will not blame the Senate for not being quick to make that a provision of the law. We would have really run into a lot of problems.
Another glitch.
Another glitch. That would have cost us a lot of problems. With time, let's keep hoping, let's keep talking about it, let's keep developing the technology for it. We need to get the technology for that right before we are sure that these things happen. If you've lived abroad, you find out that some of the technological glitches we have here don't really happen. You're driving on the highway, and at a particular point, you can't even make contact. Your phone goes off. It happens here and there. It's never happened abroad. You have a thunderstorm in this place, and soon after the thunderstorm, you can't even make a proper transmission and things like that.
Yeah.
So your phone, even your TV goes off. All these have the same route relating to electronic transmission. So let's not blame the Senate for not taking that decision, because I think we would have had more problems.
Yeah, most of the critics are seeing that as a loophole, and that it runs the risk, and risk of election being manipulated, since manual transmission of results is involved, as against uploading to the IREV, where it will be in full glare of the public. So they see it as living rooms for election manipulation.
As much as it does seem so, but I must say that using the man-made process, the biggest credibility to a result actually depends on the agent at the polling unit.
Okay.
If the agent does what is expected of an agent at every polling unit, moving from one stage to the other, being a field politician, you find situations where even agents compromise. Agents from opposition party compromise, agents from other parties, depending on what polling area, may compromise. If they do what is right, you move to the next stage, the collation at the ward.
Yeah.
And the right collation officers are there, and things are done the way it ought to be done. Nobody compromises. Nobody does anything rough. At any particular place, you move to the local governance, to the state. The same way it gets to the national headquarters. As much as we all will have loved this electronic process, but it still remains a far cry, because we don't even have the technology right around the environment for that. There are many places that you cannot make transmission.
Yeah.
That's still a problem.
So
Even in places that you can make transmission, you keep having glitches. You have technological hiccups, and they don't flow like they do in developed parts of the world.
okay. So even with when we have effective electronic devices available, so the problem is not even with the electronic devices,
Yes.
but even human factors are involved.
It's more of
So
human factors.
yeah. So how can we checkmate that too?
Human factors is it's one thing that one must begin to train ourselves about. Most times people talk about politicians, talk about the presiding officers, you talk about the ad hoc staff of INEC, particularly the ad hoc staff who know they're not permanent staff. They come from constituencies that you are not sure. They come from backgrounds that are not even credible. And they come in and you see some of the things that happened in the last election, governorship election. There was this area somewhere around the Nnewi. Along the line, INEC staff went on break on their own. Voters were there. They said they wanted to go for lunch. Later, it was found out that it wasn't all about lunch. It was about the fact that they had not been taken care of. They expected some logistic inducement from the people. These are the real challenges, more than even the technology. Because when you even come to technology, technology does not produce itself. Technology stems from the human person that sets it up. So even in technology, you find people who are not honest, who are not truthful. They could still cause problem for a seamless technological flow. So for us, for now, we are not ready, not because the Senate refused to. We are not ready because the truth is the environment is not really ready. We've not put the real institutions in place. And the human beings, like we are just discussing, they are the most important aspect. If we get the right people that could do the right things honestly, then we will not be talking so much about electronic transmission. Once again,
Okay.
if you followed the last election petition, those parties, particularly the Labour Party, Labour Party did not have agents in up to 30% of the polling units in Nigeria. And when you don't have an agent in a polling unit, that is where you begin to fail.
Yeah.
So the human factor remains the bigger factor than all this talk for electronic transmission.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then looking at the issue of, the implications of returning the permanent voter card, PVC, as the sole mode of identification at the polling units, and how it will affect voter turnout. And then again, we look at how INEC will ensure that all eligible voters have access to PVCs and then can use them effectively on election day.
Now and again, talking about PVCs, you find a couple of times, if you've been part of the registration process, supporting and helping INEC, you find us begging people to go and register.
Yeah.
Stage one. Stage two is when INEC brings back the PVCs. You are going about begging people to go and collect their PVCs.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do what we ought not to do. That is, collect for others and go to their houses to give them. Now, for somebody you have done all that for, you now still have a third stage. You must go to bring the person out to come and vote. It is the attitude that is really strangulating the proper measures that ought to be done. So for now, beavers, for me, it remains the most credible process that INEC has put in place. We've all challenged the beavers. We've all looked at the beavers. I've only seen one loophole, which is, you could check. The only loophole we've seen is also man-made. A beaver should read 000 at the beginning. That is to say that no vote has been put there. But we found situations where beavers are front-loaded. Then that's a dangerous one, because if it's front-loaded with figures, then it makes room for you to manufacture fake results. For now, beavers remains the most credible. We could have improvement if there is.
Yeah.
But today, it's tight. It's better than the processes which we've done before now. The PVCs are now getting more electronic. So it's not a question of you're picking up any card and going to anywhere. A PVC now is attached to your fingerprint. So if the PVC you're having is not electronically connected to your fingerprint, it becomes a problem for you. So I must commend INEC. They've done a lot to enhance and improve on the process. We, as the voters, the citizens, must show more cooperation and must show more interest in the election process.
Okay, before we take a break, let's quickly look at the implications again of INEC, reducing the time frame notice of election from 360 days to 180 days before polling day, and then another shortening the deadline for submission of candidates list from 180 days to 90 days before election. Will it affect any positive or negative change, in the polity?
Well, all that's neither here nor there, because 360 days is rather big. 180 days is also sufficient. What one should keep looking at, 180, is this sufficient notice for political parties and for people involved in the election process to really begin to plan and get ready? Yes, is the answer. Then the one that is reduced from 180 days to 90 days, that is 3 months.
Yeah.
All is sufficient. I think INEC is trying to make the election period as close as possible. Sometimes you find out that from the point of notice of election to actual conduct of election becomes an unnecessarily long period. And given the logistic challenges, you may not be able to even utilize all those days for effective practice in the election process. So I think it's welcome. It's a good thing. It's a shorter time, and it only means that we need to sit up. Sit up, use the days properly, use the days effectively, and there's no problem about that.
Okay, you are still watching ABS television, and you are on to Let's Talk Politics. We'll take a break right here, and when we get back, we'll continue. Don't go away. Remember, Let's Talk Politics comes away from ABS TV Tuesdays, 11 a.m. through 12 midday, and of course, Thursdays, 4 p.m. through 5 p.m. Stick around.
Anambra, una potagola.
Ibolachi.
Good morning, Anambra.
Welcome to Good Morning Anambra Breakfast TV show on ABS TV.
Let's do it together.
Bia Kaido Kwa.
We serve it sizzling hot.
Health and lifestyle. Security. Topical issues.
National development.
Entertainment and more.
Welcome to the flagship show, where we arm you with the right tools for the day.
Keeping you abreast with happenings and information within and beyond the state.
There are so many things to gain staying tuned to
Good morning, Anambra on ABS TV.
Good morning, Anambra, live on ABS television, weekdays, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Politics here on ABS television, and today our guest is still Barrister Ifatu Biokoye, the state chairman of All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA. And we've just, dissected the electoral law as passed by the Electoral Act as passed by the Senate, and yesterday. And we are still looking at the rule of law as effective checks and balances for democratic process. So is the judiciary living up to expectation in shaping our democracy? Because at the end of every election, the language we hear is, if you don't like the result, go to court. And people see the court as the last hope of the common man. Is court still living up to expectation as the last hope of the common man?
The rule of law, for those of us in APGA,
Yeah.
particularly in Anambra State, rule of law is one of the pillars of the solution government. And it's more about strengthening the institutions.
Yeah.
The institutions that will sustain the rule of law. Human beings will always come and go. The bad man in the system will one day retire and go. The good man will also retire and go. So for the judiciary, there's been a couple of challenges.
Yeah.
A couple of challenges that sometimes are pitiable. You talk about the funding and insufficient budget system for the judiciary. I would have wished that the judiciary was self-accounting so that they will be able to sustain their own budgetary process. There's also other issues like political interference. No matter what, the politicians and the rest of the public keep interfering with the judicial process. It's not just about the judges. It's also about the judicial staff. We've had situations where records of courts got missing or tampered with for one reason or the other. All this hamper the whole process of the rule of law.
Yeah.
And again, corruption, which is everywhere. It's
Yeah.
not just in the judiciary, but it becomes sensitive when it comes into the length and breadth of the judicial process. Corruption is one of the areas that's being a challenge for due rule of law.
Yeah.
Then you have the limited access to the justice system for the ordinary man. The ordinary man should always have an open access to the judicial process. Sometimes the cost of litigation is quite high, and again, due to poverty, illiteracy, all these hinder the ability of the ordinary person in the street. Then, of course, again, judicial review, inconsistent laws, varying laws here and there. It's always better for sustainable process of the rule of law There must be consistency in the laws. When the public remain unsure of what the law really is, it does not sustain a good rule of law. So these are some of the challenges that we always have. But again, like I said, opportunities for better development of and more sustainable development of the rule of law will always be there. I talked about the question of autonomy for the judiciary. Granting financial autonomy to state judiciary can enhance the independence. You see, the common say, he who pays the piper dictates. And as long as the judiciary will always come cap in hand to the executive in order to beg for funds, in order to run the judicial system, well, that interference will always be there, and you can't help it. The also need for technological integration. Most times I pity the judges who have to do the judicial process in longhand. In our profession, we keep talking about looking at the witness, understanding the witness, and making an impression of the witness. So when the judge is there writing from the beginning of every evidence to the end, he hardly have time to make a proper assessment and evaluation of the character and the candor of the witness. So technology integration in the judicial process is also important. It will also hasten or fasten the process between litigation and results that should come with that. We also expect collaboration from the civil society, the NGOs, and so on. They should begin to think about how they will partner with the judiciary. There's something Mr. Governor in Anambra State comes up with this. They see something, say something. It's a big mantra that has also helped the judicial process. We don't just wait for the law enforcement agencies to know the nooks and crannies where criminal activities are going on. So there must be collaboration between the civil society and the institution.
But on that too, there are areas where people are afraid of diverging information.
That is cool.
Based on their protection.
That is
so
cool.
Who guarantees their protection after diverging such information?
Even the police seem to be aware of that kind of situation.
Okay.
And they've come up with things they call the suggestion box, where you can anonymously come in, make a proper report, and but they keep begging the public, make sure you don't come to do that for purposes of victimization. And either way, we have our challenges. People can also use that to victimize their neighbors. But that would have been the best thing when you walk up and say, next door is Mr. Maxwell, a big criminal. I know he does that, I watch him and things like that. That would have been another thing. But you have bad people, even in the system. The bad people will now tell the criminal, Mr. Maxwell, that you came to make a report. But all that should not really hamper us. It's a growing process, and either way we'll keep developing the system. Not for the individual, for purposes of strengthening the institution.
Yeah.
Because as long as the institution is strengthened, we will have a better sustainability in the process of the rule of law. And these days, there's what we now begin to call innovative justice system, where we begin to explore alternative means of litigation instead of going through the whole hog of civil procedure, criminal procedure, etc. You can be advised to go to, like the native court. You go for alternative means of...
That's the customary court?
Not the customary
native court, no.
Yes.
Level.
At Umuna level, it's always a simple process. You don't file pleadings. You don't begin the you stand there. What is the issue? The issue is narrow. You tell your story, the next person tells the story. There is straight arbitration between that. So sometimes, these days, it's been incorporated in our rules. Rather than go through the tedious civil procedure that may take a long time, you go for alternative dispute resolution. You go in there and do it like it used to be done in the native place. Simple, straight. Yes, you find, we don't want that somebody says, I'm not owing him 5 million. But actually, what I am owing him is 1.3 million. That has brought the case to a closer end.
Yeah.
Okay, pay the pay 1.3. The balance of 3.7 becomes the question for
another day. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, what about the issue of, what they call in Igbo parlance, gratification now? Like somebody is challenging me, I'm a billionaire, it's a pauper in the village, and I give everybody 5.5 million each to be on my side. And do you think the man has any chance in getting anywhere with the case? Everybody will dance to my tune.
I want to add that up with something interesting I found. For some years, I was the chairman of the dispute resolution committee of my community, Ogidi. I heard this mantra, which I have tried to understand what it really means. They say that Ibe had a move on you. And that has been their system. Ibe had a move on you. Ibe na move on you. It's all right, but it now comes down to what you've asked. It's creating room for that advantage, where because of the status of a certain person, you begin to say that he's neither wrong nor right, but advisedly he's asked to do this, then the other person is asked not to do the other one, and so on and so forth. It's all about proper discretion, and it's all about truthfulness and civility. All this can come to play when we have courage in the judicial process. One of the attributes that mark you out when you're applying to become a judge, the first one is not even your ability to know the law, it's courage.
Okay.
If you don't have courage, you can't be a judge. You must have the capacity to look somebody in the face and tell him and write a judgment you are wrong. Your judgment should not be based on status. Your judgment should always be based on the facts, the truthfulness of the facts, and the application of the law. So it's when you pass this criteria of courage, then we begin to look at whether you have the capacity in terms of knowledge of the law to be elevated to the bench. That is what ought to sustain the principles and the institutions of true judicial process. So all that has been coming on, and I'm happy that in Anambra State we've gone quite far under the solution government in sustaining a true judicial institution. All right.
The order of the day these days within political parties is defection. And I think it's enshrined in the Constitution that when you defect, you lose your position. Under what circumstance will somebody defect without losing his position? And what circumstance will even justify cross-carpeting or defection to another party?
I think the question of defection and the implication comes in a very limited form. It has to do with the legislature.
Okay.
It does not apply to the governors, unfortunately. And for me, if I were to argue that issue, it takes us back to what the Supreme Court said in Amechi Omeha case. The Supreme Court said that the electorate neither voted for Amechi or for Omeha, that they voted for the party, the PDP at that time. So it did not matter whether it was Omeha or Amechi at the end. So what implication does that bring in law? When the electorate has voted for a particular political party, you benefit from it, then you jump ship and leave the party, you're supposed to lose your seat. So for me, I will argue that even governor who leaves his political party, based on the judgment of Amechi and Celestine Omeha, that governor ought to lose his seat.
Okay.
Because it has been pronounced very clearly that the electorate voted for your party, not for you as a person. In the case of the legislature, the law is very clear. Except where there are problems within your crisis, within your own political party at the national level, not even at the local level, you cannot move. But these days, a lot of people have been moving. And these days, surprisingly, the courts have not come to common ground as to circumstances in which one will lose his seat at the legislature when you have jumped from one party or the other. We are hoping. The law is there. It requires courage to apply the law as it ought to be.
Okay. Let's get down to the street and see what people have to, contribute to the program today.
With the people in seats, let's just start with them. Once you implement a law, let's take an action and then move it whatever anything. Because they say that leaders lead first. So whatever anything that you provide, you have to make sure that it shows to you. Because without showing it to yourself, how can the people under you be able to abide the rule of law? And let the people under you that are following the rule of law, let them follow the rule of law very well. Like maybe all these agencies, maybe all this army, police. You cannot tell a policeman to be looking for the safety of people that are going along the road, while you be on the road collecting money from people that are traveling. That means you are not the rule of law that you implemented. You are not abiding it. So the people under you will not be able to abide the one that you implemented, which is very bad.
I think the problem we are having with the rule of law in Nigeria is that most people that are even in that section of making laws doesn't even obey the law. So I think that if you want the rule of law to be effective, the people that are in concern in government, like the legislatures, they are supposed to be also obedient to the law, because when the court rules, even the politicians don't even follow the court rulings. So it now weakens the rule of law. So I think if the government officials that in positions who obey the rule of law, it will impact and make the rule of law to be effective. So that's what I think will be the solution to it. Obedience to the law by even government agents, following the court orders and rule of law, it will help.
The country is supposed to have a rule of law where in essence, where everything is supposed to be well regularized. I get it, man. There are supposed to be a check in whatever thing, a checks and balances in whatever thing they are selling. Are you getting me? If they are selling one basket of tomato, maybe 50,000, the body should be checking it and make it maybe 30,000 or 35,000. Are you getting me? and then they will have to make a provision for the farmers.
When you allow political holders to be appointees, both INEC, both Chief Justice, you have used your hand. We have used our hand to kill the democracy by ourselves. No office is bigger than rule of law.
That judiciary should be given autonomy in a system whereby you have given the judiciary an autonomy. It has automatically changed the rule of law because they no longer depend on the government. They no longer depend on the, maybe the governor or the president that will somehow manipulate the system, or that they are going to pay because of, they are going to be removed because of the rule of law. If any judge wants to attend to any particular case, it will be straightforward because he's not scared of anybody.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Politics. As you can see from the street, everybody, is saying the same thing. So we now get down to our own dear Anambra State, whereby Sidadom held sway for years, and Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has taken the bull by the horns. And then I said markets must open on Mondays, no more sit at home. And then we want to look at how has sit at home helped us by any means. And then so many people are, dropping different strokes from different folks, looking at it with mixed feelings now. And back to our guest here, how do you see that?
I must commend Mr. Governor for that bold step. As a matter of fact, it has really exposed in the whole process, watch what's been happening in the last 2 weeks. And all the information that have been coming out from the Onitsha issue. The question still remains, why Onitsha and the Navy? That's number one. Those who are mixing up the Biafra issue with sit at home, the man who they are purportedly imposing this sanction says, I have not asked for it. And as though nobody should sit at home on Mondays. That is what Nnamdi Kanu has said. IPOB, the body that under which they've been running the activities, they have come out with public statements on this issue. Then you begin to interrogate, who are the people who are now singing Nnamdi Kanu on a sit at home? You begin to ask, for what purpose? You begin to ask, why are they not sitting at home or singing these songs in Umuahia, where Nnamdi Kanu comes from? Why are they not doing it in Enugu or Bwete Market? Why Onitsha Market? Why are they not doing it in Abakaliki? So there must be something beyond what we are looking at. Then you begin to look at some of the clips you see on the social media. Suddenly you will see an old photograph, an old video of a dead body, and somebody is there at the background running a commentary. Oh, this morning, just this morning, somebody is shot. Somebody is killed in front of the market. Nothing like that happened. And in any case, assuming something like that happened, does it call for that kind of commentary? If the person is not an active criminal participant in the whole process. So I think we must all commend and collaborate with Mr. Governor in ensuring that we reclaim Onitsha market, reclaim Nnewi market on Mondays. It will be a gradual process. And I've always advised that let's keep coming out. In a few months, everything will stabilize. I am very sure of that one.
Okay.
It has exposed that there is something on the ground that is happening that is determined to destroy the economy of the Southeast. Because when you destroy the economy of Onitsha market, when you destroy Onitsha market, destroy Nnewi market, you have certainly destroyed the economy of the Southeast. Yeah. One must begin to interrogate all these issues along that line. We must show the courage. We must come back to the terms of who we used to be on the days of Boys Oye. You find these days criminal elements threatening government. How can a criminal be threatening government and threatening lawfully minded people in the social media? It doesn't happen. We must begin to seek them out wherever they are and begin to serve them the justice they require. Let nobody intimidate people who are prepared to live a decent and lawful life.
Yeah, that takes me back to what you talked about, the social media now. Is there no way the social media could be regulated to curb all these excesses?
That has become a big problem. Because you get in there, you can say anything. You get in there,
citizen journalism.
People just say what sometimes you go and ask and they tell you nothing like that is happening there. Some of us who are very consistent in our social media, you see old videos of 2000, 2001 being played in 2023, 2024. Those are 2018 and being played in 2026, only to achieve some mischief. So we must all cooperate with Mr. Governor. Let's go back to the market and reclaim our market. There may be collateral damages. That should not stop us. We were all in this Biafra during the war. There was collateral damage. But we had the courage to live through it, live through the Kwashiorkor, and came back to Nigeria. Have we lost what used to strengthen us as the Igbo people? No. Non-state actors cannot put us to stage. We must stop it, we must engage it, we must challenge it, and I will pray for everybody. Mr. Governor, we thank him for that courage. Clearly shows his vision, he clearly shows his ability to see the true things of governance. And for us, we must encourage him, because when he's asking us to come back and trade, improve our own economy and improve the economy of the state, it's not just all about him. It's not just about the government of Governor Soludo. It's also about the entire welfare as a people. And we must all participate.
Okay, your final message to INEC. We are looking forward to 2027 elections, which informed the Electoral Act amendment passed by the Senate yesterday. So what words do you have for the electorate, INEC, and even all the players in the election process to ensure a credible, free, fair election come 2027?
I must say that over the years, we've seen considerable improvement in the election process by INEC. We will keep encouraging them to keep improving, and for people to continue to have faith in the electoral process. Even the ad hoc staff, we pray that they continue to improve, show better commitment, and elections we've had recently, INEC has performed quite credibly. There's always room for improvement. And,
which is the biggest room in the world.
Yes, we have not really gotten there, but INEC in the last 10 to 15 years has shown considerable improvement, and it's for us to keep encouraging them.
Yeah.
Let everybody prepare himself very well for 2027. 2027 is going to come and pass, like every other presidential election year.
Yeah.
All this hype leads to nothing, and I can bet you it's going to be seamless. It's going to be a process that will come and pass like others.
Yeah.
And like I say, those who it won't favor, go to
court. Okay, when next you come, we'll look at Anambra State local government elections. But for today, I want to thank you for coming, Barrister Ifatu Biokoye, the chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA, the ruling party in Anambra State. I am Roy Yokudipe, thanking you for joining us. Remember, Let's Talk Politics comes away on ABS TV, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. through 12 noon, and of course, Thursdays, 4 p.m. through 5 p.m. Thanks for watching.